Let me tell you a story about a man named Daniel. Daniel was what most people would call a model citizen. Responsible, careful. Predictable in the best possible way. He grew up hearing the same advice many of us did. Save for the future. Avoid unnecessary risks. Trust compound interest. And always think long term. These ideas shaped how he saw money, work, and life itself. Daniel believed that discipline was the highest virtue. He learned early that success meant delaying pleasure today so that tomorrow would be safer and more comfortable. Spending was something to be minimized. Enjoyment was something to be postponed. Security was. Always the priority, even if it meant saying no to things you wanted. He chose a stable career and committed to it fully. For more than decades, Daniel worked consistently, showing up every day, trading hours of his life for a paycheck. He avoided big risks. Never took long breaks, and never questioned the path once he was on it. Stability mattered more than curiosity. Daniel lived modestly. He drove simple cars, lived in a basic home, and kept his lifestyle well below what he could afford. Every extra dollar was saved or invested. He maxed out retirement accounts year after year, believing that every sacrifice now would be rewarded later. When his friends traveled in their 20s, Daniel stayed home. He watched others explore the world, take spontaneous trips, and create stories they would remember forever. He told himself it was irresponsible to spend money like that so early in life. There would be time for travel later, once everything was secure. In his 40s, when his family suggested making improvements to their home or lifestyle, Daniel hesitated. He worried about unexpected expenses, future uncertainty, and worst-case scenarios. Comfort felt risky. Joy felt optional. Safety always won the argument. Eventually, Daniel reached the milestone he had been working toward his entire life. He retired with a net worth that proved his discipline had worked. On paper, it was a clear victory. He had done everything right according to conventional financial wisdom. But life does not follow financial plans. Just a few years into retirement, Daniel's health suddenly collapsed. A serious medical event changed everything. His energy disappeared. His independence faded. The future he had been saving for was no longer available to him. The years that followed were not filled with freedom or adventure. They were filled with hospital visits, recovery attempts, and physical limitations. Travel became impossible. Simple pleasures became difficult. The experiences he had postponed for decades were now out of reach. When Daniel eventually passed away, his accounts were reviewed. His net worth had grown even larger than when he retired. The markets had continued to rise while he was sick. Money accumulated effortlessly, even as his ability to use it vanished completely. From the outside, society looked at Daniel's life and called it a success. He died wealthy. He followed the rules. He played the game correctly. But focusing only on the final number ignores the cost of how that number was achieved. Money is not the goal. Money is a tool. It is stored life energy. Every dollar represents hours of time, effort, stress, and focused exchange during your limited lifespan, when money is never used. That life energy is never recovered. If you trade thousands of hours of your life for money and then die without spending it, you did not create safety. You worked for free. You gave away irreplaceable time for numbers that disappear the moment your life ends. The biggest flaw in traditional financial advice is the assumption that money has equal value at every age. In reality, your ability to turn money into enjoyment depends on your health, energy, and physical ability. Biology sets limits that money cannot overcome. In your youth, you usually have time and health but little money. In midlife, you may have money and health but very little time. Later in life, you might have money and time, but no health. You never get all three at once. Saving everything for the end of life assumes you will still be able to enjoy it. That assumption is dangerous. As you age, your capacity to travel, explore, and experience intense joy steadily declines. Much of excessive saving is driven by fear. Fear of running out, fear of uncertainty, fear of living too long. But fear is expensive. It quietly costs you experiences, memories, and connection while you are still capable of enjoying them. This same mistake happens with legacy. Many people want to leave money to their children, but they give it far too late, by the time most inheritances are received. Lives are already established, and the money changes very little. Giving earlier, while you are alive, can completely alter the trajectory of someone's life. It can reduce stress, open opportunities, and create stability when it matters most. Giving with a warm hand creates meaning that giving after death never can. Experiences are not wasted money. They are assets that create memories that pay dividends for decades. The earlier you create them, the longer they continue to give back through stories. Reflection and shared meaning. Life is not about finishing with the biggest number on a scoreboard. It is about using your time, health, and money while you still can. The real tragedy is not dying. The real tragedy is delaying life until the moment it is no longer available.